This is All India Radio and I'm Punita Bakshi, and with me is Rupinder Kaur with the Midday News. The headlines. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh leaves for Moscow on a 3-day visit to attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Defence Ministers Meet. Brigadier-level meeting between India and China is underway in Chushul in eastern Ladakh. COVID-19 recovery rate goes up to nearly 77%. Coal India to invest over 1.22 lakh crore rupees on 500 projects by the year 2023-2024. Today is World Coconut Day. And in tennis, Sumit Nagal becomes the first Indian to win a Grand Slam singles main draw match in 7 years. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh left for Russia this morning on a 3-day visit to attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Defence Ministers Meet. The defence ministers of all 8 SCO member nations are expected to deliberate on regional security challenges like terrorism and extremism and ways to deal with them collectively in Moscow on Friday. Mr. Singh is visiting Moscow at the invitation of Russian Defence Minister General Sergei Shoigu and will also take part in the meeting of Collective Security Treaty Organization CSTO and Commonwealth of Independent States CIS. The Defence Minister said in a tweet that he will be meeting his Russian counterpart, General Shoigu, to discuss bilateral cooperation and issues of mutual interest. He said India and Russia are privileged strategic partners and he is looking forward to further this partnership during the visit. Our correspondent reports that it is Mr. Singh's second visit to Moscow since June. He had represented India at the Victory Day parade in Moscow on the 24th of June that commemorated the 75th anniversary of the Soviet victory over Nazi Germany in the Second World War. Russia has also invited External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to attend the SCO Foreign Ministers meeting on the 10th of this month. Brigadier-level meeting between India and China is presently underway today in Chushul in eastern Ladakh. The third consecutive meeting between the two countries in as many days comes in light of the recent provocations from the PLA in the South Pangong Lake area on the 29th, 30th and the 31st of August. The meeting is being held on the request of the Chinese side. India and China have been closely engaged through diplomatic and military channels over the past 3 months to resolve the situation along the India-China border. The 2 foreign ministers and the 2 special representatives had agreed that the situation should be handled in a responsible manner and either side should not take any provocative action or escalate matters and ensure peace and tranquility as per bilateral agreements and protocol.
The recovery rate among COVID-19 patients has further improved in the country and it has now gone up to nearly 77%. The total number of recoveries so far has risen to over 29 lakhs. In all, 62,026 COVID patients recovered and were discharged from the hospitals during the last 24 hours. Health Ministry said the constant increase in recoveries have ensured that the actual caseload of the country has reduced and currently comprises only 21.26% of the total positive cases. The number of recovered patients is now around 3.6 times as compared to the active cases. The ministry said the number of recovered patients has grown 4 times from the first week of July to the last week of August 2020. Effective implementation of test, track and treat approach has led to higher recoveries and lower fatality. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.76%. In the last 24 hours, 78,357 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases to 37,69,524. Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh together account for over 50% of the confirmed cases added in the last 24 hours. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is 8,01,282. In the last 24 hours, 1,045 deaths were reported, taking the toll to 66,333. Over 10,12,000 COVID samples were tested in the country in the last 24 hours. India has witnessed significant rise in its COVID testing capacity in the last 5 months. From just 160 labs testing COVID samples on 23rd of March this year, the country today has 1,614 labs. Out of these, 1,019 are government labs, while remaining 595 are private. So far, with an overall testing figure of nearly 4,43,37,000, the nation has also been able to maintain a remarkably low positivity rate of around 8.5%. Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Madhya Pradesh have recorded a positivity rate even lower than 5%. All states and union territories have surpassed the 140 tests per day per million population as advised by the WHO. The Union Health Ministry informed that the remarkable feat has been achieved by rigorously following the test, track and treat strategy. The week-wise average daily tests conducted in the country has also witnessed a sharp increase from around 2.3 lakh in the first week of July to over 9 lakh in the current week.
In our series, Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of the leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, Director AIMS, Delhi, Dr. Randeep Guleria advised the people to aggressively follow the social distancing and hand hygiene norms to check the spread of COVID-19 infection.
Regular hand washing should be done. You should avoid going to crowded places because if someone in the crowd is coughing and has the infection, he can spread to others. Then if any member in your family has fever, cough, cold, he should stay at home and avoid going out so that he doesn't spread the infection to other people in the community.
In Rajasthan, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has today reviewed the corona situation in the state through video conference. The Health Minister, Dr. Raghu Sharma, Chief Secretary, Additional Chief Secretaries of main departments, all district collectors, SPs, CMHOs and officers of medical colleges took part in the high-level video conference. Our correspondent reports that the state government is now focusing on reducing the death toll from COVID-19.
COVID-19 cases are continuously increasing in the state. Many MLAs have been tested positive for COVID-19 in last 3 days. The entire focus of the government is now on providing better treatment facilities to COVID patients. The government has instructed to increase the number of beds in all district hospitals for corona patients. Besides, efforts are also being made to increase the number of beds with oxygen facilities, ICU and ventilators. Private hospitals have also been asked not to charge more than the prescribed rates to the patients. Meanwhile, 690 new cases have been reported in the state this morning and 5 people have lost their lives. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Senior BJP leader and leader of the opposition in Maharashtra Legislative Assembly Devendra Fadnavis has written a letter to Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray to ramp up COVID testing in Mumbai. Expressing concern over the rise in number of cases, Mr. Fadnavis said, despite urging the government, only 14% more testing was done in the month of August as compared to July in Mumbai. A report from our correspondent.
The former Chief Minister in his letter to CM Thackeray has said that in Mumbai, in the month of July, 6,574 COVID-19 tests were done, which increased by a meager 14%, that is 7,709 in the month of August in Mumbai. The senior leader said if normalcy has to be restored in Mumbai, then there is no other option but to ramp up testing. From the state's point of view too, he said the testing went up by 42% in August as compared to what it was in July. Fadnavis said in July, 37,528 tests were done, which went up to 64,801 in the following month. He said the state's COVID-19 infection rate in the month of August was 18.44%, which was more than the national average. At present, Maharashtra's COVID-19 infection rate is 19.15%. Meanwhile, from today onwards, there will be no restrictions on inter-district movement of persons and goods in Maharashtra. The state government has also said that e-permits will not be needed for inter-district travel. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Goa, Chief Minister Dr. Pramod Sawant has tested COVID-19 positive. He tweeted this saying he has opted for home isolation and is asymptomatic. Dr. Sawant further added that he will discharge his duties working from home. The Chief Minister has advised those who came in contact with him to take the necessary precautions. Meanwhile, Chief Minister's office has clarified that appointments and meetings scheduled earlier stand suspended till further notice.
In Karnataka, Medical Education Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar has accused former Union Minister P. Chidambaram of ignoring facts and cherry-picking data to score a political point. He was reacting to the tweet by Mr. Chidambaram that India will overtake Brazil within weeks in rising COVID-19 cases. Dr. Sudhakar asked the former Union Minister to see that India has a case fertility rate of 1.77%, that is almost half of the world average. In another development, the plasma from the state-supported 8CG Plasma Bank in Bengaluru was sent for use in 2 critical COVID patients in Srinagar, Kashmir, yesterday. More from our correspondent.
The HCG Plasma Bank in Bengaluru had sent 2 units of convalescent COVID-19 plasma to Kashmir. It was airlifted from Bengaluru and reached 61-year-old female and 63-year-old male patients in Kashmir within 8 hours yesterday. This is probably for the first time that plasma was transported from one place to another for saving the lives of critical patients infected with virus. An air corridor was created for this purpose in Bengaluru and Srinagar. The plasma bank in Bengaluru is set up under Mission COVID Plasma Endeavour to promote plasma donation from recovered COVID-19 patients. So far, 250 recovered COVID-19 patients have donated plasma, and this has been given to over 340 patients. The state government had announced an incentive of 5,000 rupees to those donating their plasma. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In Telangana, surge in the number of COVID-19 cases being recorded every day continued, with reporting 2,892 new cases yesterday. As per the daily bulletin issued by the State Medical and Health Department, 2,892 persons tested positive for coronavirus after around 60,000 tests conducted during the past 24 hours. The number of total COVID-19 cases reported so far in the state increased to 1,30,589. During the same period, 2,240 more COVID-19 patients recovered and were discharged from various hospitals in the state. With this, the recovery rate in the state improved a bit to 74.5%, and total 97,402 people recovered from COVID so far. 10 patients died yesterday due to COVID and other comorbidities, taking the total COVID-19 toll to 846.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver keynote address to the 3rd Leadership Summit of US-India Strategic and Partnership Forum, USISPF, tomorrow. The summit, titled US-India Week, Navigating New Challenges, highlights areas of Indo-US bilateral cooperation, including in trade and investment, strategic energy ties, collaboration in fintech, healthcare, technology, and India's position in global supply chains. US Vice President Mike Pence addressed the week-long summit on Monday. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal have also addressed the summit earlier this week. The summit is being attended by top corporate leaders, government officials and leaders. In Gujarat, the state government has issued Unlock 4 guidelines yesterday on the line with those issued by the Union Home Ministry. According to the new guidelines, the public parks and gardens will reopen while the shops will function without any time limit. More from our correspondent.
According to the notification issued yesterday, the public parks and gardens will reopen outside the containment areas. The open-air theatres will start functioning from 21st September. However, the cinema halls, swimming pools, entertainment parks and theatres will remain closed. Hotels and restaurants have been permitted to remain open till 11 p.m., while no time limit for takeaway food facilities. Shops are allowed to remain open without any time limit. According to new guidelines, the social, academic, sports, entertainment, cultural, religious and political functions can be held from 21st September with a ceiling of 100 persons. Street vendors can resume business with strict observance of COVID-19 protocol. City bus services in Ahmedabad and Surat will operate with 50% capacity outside the containment zone, while in other areas of the state, buses will run with 60% capacity. Yogesh Pandya, AR News, Ahmedabad.
Tamil Nadu government has decided to allow inter-district travel from the 7th of this month. In a statement issued by Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy today, it has been informed that the public and private transport firms will be allowed to resume their services between different districts in the state. Suburban train services will also be allowed from the same date. Currently, travel by public transport is possible only within the districts. Electric train services remain suspended as of now.
There will be no question hour and private members' bills will not be taken up in the upcoming monsoon session of Parliament. The 0 hour will be restricted. Notifications issued by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha Secretariat said there will also be no breaks during the session, which will be held from 14th of September to 1st of October. Both the houses will function on Saturdays and Sundays as well. In view of the COVID-19 pandemic, the session will be held in 2 shifts, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Except for the first day, the Rajya Sabha will sit in the morning shift and the Lok Sabha will sit in the evening. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh leaves for Moscow on a 3-day visit to attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Defence Ministers Meet. Brigadier-level meeting between India and China is underway in Chushul in eastern Ladakh. COVID-19 recovery rate goes up to nearly 77%. Coal India to invest over 1.22 lakh crore rupees on 500 projects by 2023 and 2024. Today is World Coconut Day, and in tennis, Sumit Nagal becomes first Indian to win a Grand Slam singles main draw match in 7 years. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Coal India Limited, CIL, will invest over 1.22 lakh crore rupees on development of nearly 500 projects related to coal evacuation, infrastructure, project development, exploration and clean coal technologies in the country. The investment aims at making India self-reliant in terms of coal and achieve the production target of 1 billion tons by the year 2023-2024. Addressing a stakeholders meet organized by CIL, Coal and Mines Minister Prahlad Joshi said involvement of all concerned stakeholders in companies' affairs will reduce and uncover the project risks. He informed that the national miner CIL will be investing around 14,200 crore rupees over the next 3 to 4 years in 2 phases for its 49 first-mile connectivity projects. First-mile connectivity is the transportation of coal from pitheads to dispatch points. Computer-aided loading technologies of coal is being developed to replace the existing methodology of transportation via road. Coal India has also identified 15 greenfield projects which will be operated under the Mine Developer and Operator MDO model. Overall, nearly 34,600 crore rupees will be invested through this route. In the meeting, Coal India also announced an array of measures for relaxations and exemptions for greater participation of its stakeholders. The experience criteria has been brought down from 65% to 50% for mining tenders, while work experience criteria are relaxed by 50% in turnkey contracts.
In Telangana, 5 people died when a lorry carrying sand collided head-on with a car this morning at Pasaragonda Crossroad in Warangal Rural District. According to Assistant Commissioner of Police Srinivas, all the 5 persons travelling in the car died on the spot. As per initial information, the accident appeared to have occurred while overtaking another vehicle. The lorry was coming from Kaleswaram to Warangal. The bodies are being shifted to Government Hospital for post-mortem. More details are awaited. Today is World Coconut Day. The main objective of celebrating this day is to create awareness across the globe about the importance of the coconut and its benefits. The day is specially marked in countries under Asian and Pacific regions by the Asian and Pacific Coconut Community APCC, as they house most of the world's coconut growing production centers. The first celebration of World Coconut Day was in the year 2009. The occasion is to commemorate the Foundation Day of APCC, which operates under the flagship authority of the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, UNESCAP. The theme of the World Coconut Day this year is Invest in Coconut to Save the World.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar today expressed happiness that Swadeshi apps are in top 10 on Play Store. In a tweet, Mr. Javadekar said Prime Minister Narendra Modi has, in the last Mann Ki Baat episode, asked citizens of the country to support indigenously developed apps in a boost towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. The Prime Minister had also cited a few examples among these apps: the Kutuki Kids Learning app, Chingari app, Ask Sarkar app, Step Set Go app, among others. In Telangana, encouraged by the enthusiasm among youngsters for knowing the culture and heritage of other parts of the country, Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat clubs have been established in almost all colleges across the state. Under the Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat program, a series of webinars have been held with active participation from students. A report.
Almost all degree colleges across the state have established these Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat clubs, enthusing students to know more about the culture, traditions and food habits of Haryana, the pairing state for Telangana under Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat program. Achieving one of the aims of the flagship program of the central government, these clubs have helped the students, even during COVID lockdown, to continue to be in touch with their counterparts in Haryana, to learn together something about each state. The State Higher Education Department, along with others, organized last month about half a dozen webinars in which large number of students took part. Mehzabin, a BEd student from NSR College of Education in Hyderabad, is overwhelmed by the cultural exchanges and knowledge sharing through the EBSB clubs. Sharing her joy, she says,
conducting cultural programs in which we exhibit our own cultures and we see their own cultures and we get to know others here and we do not feel that we are alienated.
She also won prizes in the competitions held by the Regional Outreach Bureau of Hyderabad. Lakshmi, AIR News, Hyderabad.
In Madhya Pradesh, a massive Gandagi Bharat Chodo campaign was launched by the state government. Urban Development and Housing Minister Bhupendra Singh said that this campaign has been given the shape of a mass movement. The campaign was divided into 5 themes: cleanliness oath, continuous reduction in urban waste emissions, cleanliness in COVID conditions, separation of waste from sources of houses, and launching a special cleanliness campaign for public places. More in this report.
Around 35 lakh citizens took part in the campaign in 378 urban bodies in Madhya Pradesh. More than 7 lakh citizens took the oath of maintaining cleanliness during the campaign, while 8,70,000 people were approached to make compost from wet waste. 4,65,000 masks were distributed with the help of citizens under the mask awareness campaign. Around 10,000 coronavirus sanitation workers have also been honored. Awareness programs were organized in 7,178 settlements under the campaign. A total of 18,560 challan were made against polythene carry bags. Urban Development and Housing Minister informed that ranking of urban bodies will be done on the basis of work under this campaign. Bodies coming in good rankings will be awarded by the Chief Minister. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Sumit Nagal stormed into the second round of the ongoing US Open tennis last night. Nagal defeated Bradley Clawn of USA 6-1, 6-3, 3-6, 6-1 in the first round of the US Open to progress further into the tournament. With this result, the 23-year-old Nagal has become the first Indian to win a singles main draw match at a Grand Slam in the last 7 years. In 2013, Somdev Dev Varman had reached the second round of the Australian Open, French Open and US Open. Nagal, who is the world number 122, will now face second-seeded Austria's Dominic Thiem in the second round of the tournament.
Uttar Pradesh government has announced that the weekly restrictions period in the state has been reduced to 24 hours only. Earlier, it was being imposed regularly on weekends for 2 days, that is, on Saturday and Sunday. A letter issued by Chief Secretary R.K. Tiwari says that restrictions will only be in place from midnight of Saturday to midnight of Sunday now, though essential services will still be allowed in this period. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has asked officials to ramp up coronavirus testing in the state and increase its daily limit from the current 1.49 lakh. A total of more than 57.76 lakh tests have been conducted in the state till date. Uttar Pradesh government has also decided to set up exclusive anti-electricity theft police stations in every district of the state to address the problem of frequent cases of power theft. An order issued by Home Department says that one police station dedicated to deal with the issue of power theft will be opened in all 75 districts, out of which 63 have already started functioning. The government has also raised the number of enforcement teams from 33 to 88 to launch a crackdown against those involved in power pilferage. As many as 53 teams are already functioning. The release says that this year, 20,401 cases of power theft were registered and a compounded fine of 2.75 crore rupees was realized from the offenders.
In our series on Gandhian philosophy, today we will focus on aspect of non-violence as preached and practiced by the Mahatma. He believed that even when it may appear that some good is being achieved by violent or unfair means, that good is only temporary and will not be of any consequence in the long run. Gandhiji opined that a true follower of non-violence may accept the violence on self, but will not inflict it on another person.
Gandhian philosophy emphasizes that in the course of fighting for rights, acceptance of violence and self-suffering should not be confused with promotion of cowardice. Mahatma believed that cowardice is the greatest violence, even greater than bloodshed. For Gandhiji, non-violence was the greatest force at the disposal of mankind and even mightier than the mightiest weapon. Mahatma believed that non-violence is a search for truth and is beyond any limits. The name of his autobiography, My Experiments with Truth, beautifully encapsulates his life and pursuit of truth. It was during these experiments and pursuit that Gandhiji discovered non-violence. Anand Chaturvedi, AIR News, Delhi.
In Jammu and Kashmir, the Union Territory Administration has issued new excise policy for 2020-21 effective from 1st of September till 31st March next year. AIR correspondent reports that the new policy aims at rationalizing the tax structure to optimize revenues besides encouraging transition from high to low alcoholic drinks. The policy also aims at providing choice of brands to consumers and level playing field to those in the trade, and 50% additional excise retail duty, commonly known as Corona tax, has been waived off. The policy would help in achieving the financial targets despite COVID-19 challenges.
In our series on Atmanirbhar Bharat today, we bring you a special story on mobile apps designed and developed by Indian developers and companies without any foreign assistance. The Government of India, in association with Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, had invited nominations for the development of mobile apps from Indian developers. Winner mobile applications of the Atmanirbhar Bharat App Challenge can now be downloaded from the app stores. Ask Sarkar, one of the winner apps in the challenge, gives authentic information on government schemes, projects and policies. It helps collate and index the most popular questions that the citizens ask when they look at central government websites. It is built using Core conversational AI platform and provides information in more than 12 Indian languages and few foreign languages as well. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his Mann Ki Baat address last week, said that the app is really helpful for those looking for authentic information. Now let us take a look at today's weather update. The national capital Delhi may experience generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The minimum temperature was recorded at 25 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with light moderate rain. The city witnessed a minimum temperature of 26 degrees Celsius and will have a maximum of around 31 degrees. In Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum will be around 29 degrees. The city is likely to witness thunderstorm with rain. In Srinagar, the temperature will hover between 17 to 29 degrees Celsius. The city will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh leaves for Moscow on a 3-day visit. To attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, defence ministers meet. Brigadier-level meeting between India and China is underway in Chushul in eastern Ladakh. COVID-19 recovery rate goes up to nearly 77%. Coal India to invest over 1.22 lakh crore rupees on 500 projects by 2023-2024. Today is World Coconut Day. And in tennis, Sumit Nagal becomes first Indian to win a Grand Slam singles main draw match in 7 years. And with that, we end the Midday News.